Good evening. My name is Alisa K. Clark. My student number is 240112 N5AK. Today, practical lab skill number 8, we'll be doing non-sterile compounding of an ointment. And for this practical lab, the materials we'll be using is spatula, the jar, aqua pad, weighing bolt, one for the zinc oxide and one for the dilanthine cream, zinc oxide, and the cocoa butter cream for the dilanthine. We'll be using a electronic scale, non-latex gloves, parchment paper, the label, we also have the master formula sheet and the compounding log sheet, and the calculation for this is for the dilanthine cream, the dilanthine, which is 5%, which would be 5/100, and instead of using the 240 grams of zinc oxide, we're going to use 40 grams, and it would be X for the dilanthine grams over 40 the zinc oxide, which we would cross multiply. So we would say the 5 times the 40 would give us 200, and the 100 times the X would give us 100 gram, and then we would divide both sides by 100 gram, and it would leave us with 2 grams. So for the dilanthine would be 2 grams, and in order to get the amount of zinc oxide, it would be the 40 grams minus the 2 grams of dilanthine would give us 38 grams of zinc oxide. And to use a 10% margin, we would say 2 grams times 10%, which would give us 0.2 grams. And to find the maximum allowed weight would be 2 grams minus 0.2 grams, which would give us 2.2 grams. And for the minimum allowed weight would be 2 grams minus 0.2 gram, which would be equal to 1.8 gram. For the zinc oxide, which is 38 grams times 10%, would give us 3.8 gram. And the maximum allowed weight would be 38 grams plus 3.8 grams, which would be equal to 4.8 grams, and the minimum allowed weight would be 38 grams minus 3.8 grams, which would give us 34.2 grams. So before we move on, we will go now to do hand washing. So to do the hand washing, we're gonna get a paper towel to turn the hot water on, and we're going to feel it when the water gets hot. And if it's too hot, we use a paper towel to turn on the cold water. Okay, and we throw away that paper towel. We wet our hands. Then we get the soap. And we lather our hand on the wrist, and then we scrub between the fingers, and then we wash under the nails, under the nails, Then we put our hand under the water with our fingers pointing down. We rinse our hands thoroughly, then we dry, drip dry. Then we get the paper towel and we pat dry. Pat dry, and we use a paper towel to turn off the faucet. Now we're gonna put on our non-latex glove. Now that we have our gloves on, we're gonna get our scale. And we're gonna sanitize the tools, the material that we'll be using in this scale. First, we're gonna sanitize the scale and let it air dry. Sanitize and mix in the weighing bowl. Then we're gonna sanitize the spatula. Get another alcohol pad, and we're also gonna sanitize the jar that the ointment will be placed in. So now I'm going to go ahead and weigh the ointment, which is the petroleum jelly for the zinc oxide. So we're still in the margin. We're at 38. .8 grams. We're gonna put that aside, and then now we're going to weigh out the dilantin, which is the cocoa butter cream, and that would be 2 grams. For the zinc, for the dilantin, it's 2.1, so it's still in the margin. So now that we have our 2 creams weighed out, we're gonna sanitize the parchment paper with the aqua pad. Then now we are going to put the Dilantine, which is the cocoa butter cream, on the parchment paper. Then we're going to put our zinc oxide, which is the petroleum jelly. And then we're going to mix to combine both. Mix it well to combine it. Now that we are finished mixing, we're gonna put it in our jar. Okay, we're going to clean out the jar, make sure it's clean. Then we're going to cover it. Now we're going to put on the label. And the patient that this was made for is Louis Ballinger. And the label is correct with what is the system, and he has no refill. Now we're gonna put our tools aside. Now we're gonna assign a bud. And today is the 27th of May, so the bud is 30 days, so the bud would be the 27th of June 2025. Now we're going to do the compounding record. So for the compounding record, we're going to put in today's date, which is May 27, 25, and the RX number, which is 6469 856, and the ingredients name, which is Dilantine 5%, and zinc oxide. $40 The manufacturer is Vaseline. And Dawn Mist. So lot number and the expiration date. Quantity used 2 grams and 38 grams. And the expiration date is 06 27 25. And now we're finished with the compound record. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clean my material for further use. And that's the end of the skill. Thank you and have yourself a great day.